So I don't know if I'm going to be posting this video, because it's a little more personal, but we'll see what happens, I guess. This is actually more of a recovery video. Um, I got my 30-day chip on Wednesday, and it was the first AA meeting that I had gone to as an alcoholic, which was a really big step for me. I was still trying to sort of work the steps on my own, um, which is not a good idea. Just anybody who ever gets that idea, it's bad. It's real bad. Not that I was, relapsing, but I mean, there were definitely a lot of times where I could have. Um, but I, I don't. So let me back this up. I've had an actually in the last year and a half, I've actually done a lot of really amazing things that I should be proud of. Um, I've done a lot of activism. I've done a lot of, you know, work in therapy. I've done a lot of, work with my social anxiety and things like that. And coming to terms with everything, my mental illness, and even the small accomplishment of having a girlfriend for 4 months, or 3 months, or whatever it was. And but like out of all of that, out of all of the you know policies that I've changed or helped create or helped write, the thing that that was my phone. I was actually probably prouder of this accomplishment than anything else that I've done in the last year and a half. Getting my 30-day chip, which uh, I mean, I should be proud, definitely, absolutely, but the magnitude of it really didn't even hit me until I picked it up, because I really had a chance to reflect on my history with substance abuse. I started smoking cigarettes when I was 14 years old because of a girl. Surprise, surprise. Um, I started smoking pot a year later, which whichever side of the pot debate you fall on, I'm not really one who should be smoking it. I have a really addictive personality, and I was using it to self-medicate and have been for a while. But um, I started drinking at 16. I started doing pills um, at 17, and I started drinking heavily at 18, and that continued until this past March, and then I switched back to drugs after that. I mean, nothing, hugely heavy. I wasn't shooting heroin or anything like that, but I was still doing pot and pills, which I don't necessarily. I mean, I'm glad that I'm off them, because they just really don't suit well with me. I don't like what it does to my body and my body chemistry, and I just don't. I don't like being under the influence. I'm not that guy. And the really weird thing is that, well, it's not really weird, but the thing that I noticed in my 30 days as I've been reflecting on this is the fact that this is honestly the first time since I was 14 that I've been substance free, except for the substances that were prescribed to me legally that I'm taking as I'm supposed to be taking them. And that's a really good feeling. It's a weird feeling, but it's good. And then I thought back a little bit farther to the rest of my history, and I was very self-destructive in high school and in middle school, and I was a self-injurer. from this time I was 10 years old, I, would punch the walls to make my knuckles bleed, or I would, scratch or claw in my skin to draw blood, and it was really for the endorphin rush because I felt, I was depressed all the time. I was miserable, and I was anxious, and it was awful. And that continued until I was 15 when I started cutting. And I cut for a couple years there. I think until I was about 17, and in various places. And I mean, it wasn't a suicide attempt or cry for help. It was just I just wanted to feel something other than the emotional pain that I felt, and that's a lot of why I got into drugs and alcohol, and that's why I smoked and everything like that. And reflecting on that, and reflecting on the fact that I've been oops, oh, farther back. I have been self-injuring for 13 years now. Been doing drugs for, including smoking for 9 years, drugs and alcohol, whatever, for 9 years. Um, I've been suicidal for 10 years. I've been depressed for 20. And it just, like, I think the thing that scares me most, I mean, I'm in recovery now, like I said, I'm going to AA and it's helping. I'm going to therapy, it's not helping as much, but I'm I'm gonna try to work on that and see what I can do about that and to feel better about that. But it occurs to me that I've had these things for so long that now I'm throwing away, completely doing away with, and I worry what I'll be like without them. I worry, what am I gonna be like when I don't have something to cover up the anxiety, or when I don't have some way to cope with depression other than my medication, or what am I like underneath all of that? I've been using all of that as a mask for a really long time, and even though I've kept a lot of it secret, it's still affected my personality, and it has affected my entire life. I mean, you can't have those illnesses, and you can't have those addictions, and it not mess with you in some way. I mean, I've almost broken a friend. One of my, well, she's my best friend. I almost broke her in half because she took away my alcohol. I've woken up covered in puke, or without pants or keys or my phone, because I got blackout drunk and have no idea what happened the night before. And it's one of those that I realize that I have to both discover who I am and define who I am, and that's a really scary place to be at. And it's a really scary thing to be 23 years old and to not really have a good grasp on who you are and what you want out of life. And I thought I mean, I really thought that I had it all figured out from the time I was like 3 years old. I was going to be a doctor, and I was going to, you know, be a trauma surgeon. I think was the first thing that I wanted to be. And that's what I wanted to do for so long. And then I get to college, and I mean, there were a couple times that I thought, well, I mean, in middle school and high school, I thought, maybe I don't want to do this. And I had secret dream jobs that I kind of kept to myself. Like, I wanted to be a psychologist, and I wanted to be um, a minister of all things, which sounds really random, but it actually, was to get to help people and use faith, and I was big into the church for a while. But, I mean, I was expected to be a doctor. That's what I always said I wanted to do. That's the only thing I'd ever, wanted to do according to my friends, my family, the people around me, even that, didn't have a huge stake in what happened to me, and I let people pigeonhole me, and maybe that's part of the problem. Maybe that's, you know, I wasn't happy trying to live up to everybody else's standards and expectations, and I was tired of being pigeonholed and, you know, told what I should want out of life, you know, because, sorry, I'm crying a little bit, because, you know, that was somebody else's dream, and I never really stopped and developed my own. I mean, if you had asked me in high school what I saw my future as, I would have told you that I would be lucky if I hadn't killed myself by the time I was 18. And even after that, I probably would have told you that I would be lucky if I hadn't killed myself by the time I was 21 or 25 or 30. And I mean, I guess, you know, that still goes. You know, I still live with those thoughts every day. I mean, I don't have a plan anymore, at least an active plan. I guess I'd be lying if I said I didn't have a plan at all. But I want to live and I want to get better, and for the first time in my life, I want to have dreams that are my own, and I want to pursue things that I love, not because anybody else thinks that I would be good at it or thinks I should do it. I want to pursue it because they make me happy, and they make me, you know, they make me want to get up every morning. And I found that a lot of ways in transactivism, um, and being involved in that and on campus and helping out, you know, other students, and in social justice causes. And, you know, I'm even starting to rediscover that in religion. I'm Unitarian Universalist, so my views on God are a little bit, they would take a whole nother video to talk about, but I don't know, I guess I really just wanted to talk about that because I've I've never really been honest with anybody, even to this day, about how bad uh, it had gotten, and I still haven't. But it seemed making a video and posting it on the internet was a lot easier than having to look somebody in the eye and tell them that you didn't think that you would make it to this age, you know, or you thought that you would have drank yourself to death by now. So, anyway, I hope everybody's well, and I might make another recovery video in the near future, but this has been really helpful. I hope everybody's having a good day.